Good evening, America. Welcome back to another episode of Break the Machine podcast. We have a great guest for you tonight on this Friday night. I hope everybody's week has been fantastic. Tonight, I'm going at it alone. Red Day had a family obligation he had to attend to. So that always, you know how we feel about that, family first, right? Like that comes first. He'll be back on Monday with us. But tonight, we got Ramses Frias with you. He is running, okay, for New York City District 25 Council. He's the Republican candidate. And he's a firestorm. If you've seen any of his posts, his links, by the way, are all in the description. Every single one of his links to his campaign page, his Facebook, threads, everything you need to know where you can get a hold of him. Hi, Vicky. Good to see you. So this should be a good one tonight. And he's pretty raw about things. I've seen a lot of his posts, and he keeps it 100%. He's gully about what he's gonna say. Doesn't matter the show, and you know we're like that here on this show too. We keep it real. We keep it 100 all the time. So it's gonna be another good breath of fresh air to have him on here, and he's gonna get into it. So without further ado, let's bring Ramses in so he can say what's up, introduce himself, tell a little bit about his story, and then we'll get into the politics of his district a little bit later on. Ramses, what's up, man? Thank you,
What's
brother, for
good?
coming on,
What's
giving us
good,
some
Big Red?
time.
How you doing?
Good, brother, man. I appreciate you taking the time on your Friday night. I know you're busy campaigning. We're down here on the stretch. Probably got a little bit over a half a month left before election day in New York. So I know it's a constant grind for you. So I genuinely, humbly appreciate you taking a Friday night to give us some of your time. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here again. First and foremost, all grace is due to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. The only
Amen.
reason that I'm able to be here and be able to speak to you and everybody else, I honestly feel that He's the one that put this into my path, and this is the reason why I do this work. And
100%, man.
yeah.
I had that feeling. I had that feeling last year, man, when I started the channel, and we're in a big election year, and I felt like he was talking to me and telling me use your platform, start speaking. You got a mouth, you got a history. Let everybody know where you're coming from. Start
That's right.
talking to people. So,
Yeah,
but
that's right,
anyway, brother,
man.
go
When
ahead.
once he puts something into your heart, that's it.
Yeah,
It's hard to deny it. You just got to go 100%.
absolutely, 100%, man. Like he says, right? Like we have our own plans, but his plans are the ones that always take over.
That's right. That's right.
It's the way it is. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Well, so I'm a dad first and foremost. I'm just a dad here, and I got frustrated with a lot of the things that I was seeing happening into my neighborhood just during the COVID time, and then everything after that followed suit, and things just needed to change immediately. Everything just started getting worse. We just started seeing an uptick in crime. We started seeing way too much garbage in the street, too many illegal street vendors, too much lawlessness and disorder. And
Mm.
it just pushed me, to an edge where I said, I have to do something. Started documenting everything that was going on in the neighborhood, letting people know that there's an issue here because everybody else was kind of being quiet about it, putting on horse blinders or, making up these false truths about our area. Yes, it is beautiful. Yes, it's 100% culturally diverse, beautiful people, beautiful families, hardworking individuals, but the reality is there's a real ugly underbelly over here, and
Yep.
it's showing itself,
I
and
know exactly
things
what you're
need
going
to
to get into
change.
with that too. I've been following that for quite some time, and I know we're talking a little cryptic here, America, but it's just he trusts me. We'll get into it. But go ahead, man. Keep going.
But yeah, so ever since then I just took it upon myself, and and just said that it was time for me to do something, for me to speak up, for me to represent the voice of the weak out here. I can be very loud. I'm Dominican and Haitian. We come from a loud and proud families,
Just
and
being from the Caribbean, bro. We're all out.
yeah, we're very loud, very boisterous. But we have a message. We have something that we have to say. There's something that we have to do, and I'm very proud of my Haitian background. Being the first free black country in all of the world, and that kind of
Right.
sticks with me. It makes me stand up for people, it makes me stand up for people that can't stand up for themselves, and it really pushed me again these past few years to step up and do this. So now I'm running for city council, District 25 here in Elmhurst and Jackson Heights. Beautiful, beautiful community, you know, born and raised here, raising my children here. And I want them to be proud of where they're from. Just like I want every other family that lives here to be proud of this area.
Right.
It gives back so much because you have so much freedom here, but we can't take advantage of that. We have to
100%.
maintain some type of order, and we
So hold
can't
on.
allow the things that are happening here to continue.
Hold on, Ramses. We got rated. You know, I don't know if you know on Rumble we get rated. Sinoski, thank you, brother, for rating us again. He rated us on Wednesday. Please make sure you're watching the Quiet Part podcast. Okay. Well, Quiet Part Pod, because someone else stole his name. His original name was the Quiet Part Podcast, but someone on Rumble stole his name. Please tune into him and his channel. So thank you again, Raiders. Welcome. You should enjoy tonight. We got Ramses Frias with us from New York City. His asked, "What's going on, Concrete Hades? Good to see you." Go ahead, man. Sorry, I had to gotta acknowledge the Raiders when they come in, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. This is your world. I'm just a part of it today. But yeah, no, man. You know, again, I'm just pushing to do the best for this community to show, you know, the truths, to show what's real. I don't, you know, double talk anything. I call it as it is. You know, if there's
Right,
something really bad happening out there, I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna
right.
show it, and I'm gonna make sure that I do my part to help fix it. So I'm not stopping anytime soon. This is just what I do on a regular basis now. I just want to do it, you know, representing my community on the city council.
In an official capacity, actually working for the people. But listen, man, your hard work. I've watched plenty of your videos. Okay, again, one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on because you keep it 100, man. Like bro, you're you're real, okay, and it's what comes out of you in your stories, and when you're just like you literally walk up to people with a camera, okay, and you show your viewers this is what's going on in our district. This is what it is that I'm trying to change. Okay,
That's right.
what we need to change. So like it's one of the things I appreciate about you is that you keep it real, right? You're 100% all the time. You keep it gully with anybody on the street. It's just the way it is. You talk to people, you know, with humanity and stuff like that. You try to educate people on what's going on. The roughnecks in the hood that try to kind of flex on you, they don't get too far with it, which is funny. I always laugh when I see some dumbass try to freaking flex a little bit. I'm just like, do they realize this dude, he will absolutely crush this dude? You know what I'm saying? It's like he's like a real dude. He's not he's repping, all right? So like it's one of the things I appreciate about you. So get into one of the things I've seen you post a lot about, and I don't think many of my viewers probably don't know this. Um, there's a huge prostitution and trafficking issue in your district. So if you can get into that, I mean, my viewers are pretty savvy. They follow a lot of stuff on human trafficking as
Right.
a whole across the country, but I don't think too many people know about what's going on in your hood.
Right. So in Elmhurst and Jackson Heights, it's basically we have what I consider and what I call a safe haven for human trafficking and prostitution because our representatives either stay quiet about it or try to promote it and make it legal. Now, this has always been an issue in my area. I've since me growing up here, we've seen it. We knew which houses it were, you know, they were in. We knew which basements they were in, but it was quiet, right? They kind of like downplayed it. They wouldn't be outside the way they are right now. Right now, we
Right,
have women on one strip from 90th Street to 88th Street. On that strip, there are at least 20 women at any given time soliciting.
no shit.
And right around the corner from that, you'll see another 10 women soliciting. And this is all in the area of, you know, a residential area, places
Right,
with supermarkets. When they're in the commercial areas, it's supermarkets, bodegas, you know, mom and pop shops, restaurants. And then 2 blocks away, PS 89, an elementary school. The elementary school where I went, my brothers went, where my kids went. And now these kids every single day have to walk past a brothel as if it's normal, as if
right,
this is supposed to be there, like this is a
right.
business that's supposed to be there. Now
Mm,
I'm fighting constantly. Just about every Sunday we have a rally against a different brothel in the area.
It's part
There's
of the
at
videos that I've
least
seen.
20 to 30 brothels
Mm.
from Corona just to Jackson Heights.
Oh
20 to
shit.
30. And that's not
That's
counting what's going on in Flushing, because Flushing is they're overrun with brothels. And then now it's
wow.
seeping into
See, I didn't even
Woodside
know
and
that. I didn't even know about Flushing. I knew about where you were at and stuff like that. I didn't even know that Flushing
yeah,
and now
Main
Woodside.
Street. Main Street is live with it.
Wow.
You know, the disorder comes from Flushing all the way on down to almost, I would say, to Long Island City.
No shit.
And yeah, so it's spreading. So we need
Mhm.
to put a hold on it, and we need FBI, we need NYPD, we need
Right.
all of these departments
All hands
working
on deck.
together.
You need all
Everyone,
hands on deck for
we're
this. Yeah.
calling everyone to come over here and bring some order back, and
Right.
that's a reach, right? We should be able to handle that within our own. I shouldn't have to reach out federally for this.
Yeah, NYPD shit. NYPD is big enough. They got enough task force that actually have been doing this for about 50, 60 years. They've had a freaking, prostitution task force, all right? They cleaned up all kinds of stuff in Manhattan. Listen, I grew up when Times Square, okay, was just full of porn and hookers all over the place. There was strip clubs, porn theaters. It was just a cesspool. Okay, that's when I'm old enough, okay, to remember that, right? And I remember when Giuliani came in and he shut all that shit down, and he did all kinds of zoning and stuff like that. And people were upset. Some people got to, like, if you were scores, you were old freaking, essentially you got to stay where you were at. But like he kicked all of that stuff out of Times Square. Okay, and then he started bringing, like, he brought Disney in first.
Yeah,
Okay,
basically.
and
Yeah.
he brought Disney in first, and then they brought in ABC, MTV, they brought everything. Okay, with them, they brought their stores. Other stores came in, and then, okay, what blew up again, once again, all right, was the theater district, because the theater district, like, nobody was going to the theater district because of all that shit. So I remember what that was like, and I remember what that cleanup was like. So I can only imagine if you're telling me that it's this bad in just a short stretch, okay? Because that's not really a long stretch what you're talking about, all right? That is just like it's just compacted with a whole bunch of shit that's going on in
That's
one
right.
place. Hey, Blondie, good to see you. So there's no reason why NYPD can't do it.
Yeah,
We know
no,
why
we're
though.
we're we're over here. We've gone backwards into, I would say, maybe 30, 40 years. We've gone back in time. So there's complete lawlessness. And all this came from the anti-lawlessness laws that was passed between Senator Jessica Ramos and Cuomo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why we have all these prostitutes are able to just
Yeah,
be outside all day, and we can't move them. We can't tell them, go back inside. So they're
because the
just
law's
literally
protecting
out on
them.
the streets, pulling people off the street, grabbing them by the hand. A man will be walking by with his girlfriend or his wife and, tries to pull them. There's teenage boys that they're walking
Like, just
past, they
straight up,
try to
just
pull
like, even
them. Yeah.
like you be walking with your lady and they they try to pull you in.
They don't care.
I
They
can
don't
only
care.
imagine the fist fights that occur in front of the brothels with
They'll
that
give you
shit.
an eye. They'll give you an eye. They try to lure you in, and they get their customers, and it's just a revolving door of like evil, and a revolving door of like crime, because it leads to other things, right? We have
Right.
it causes, like, now we have an open air drug market, which is another issue. We have people shooting heroin in the street. Like, I'm walking to go get a haircut, and right in the middle of the street, is a guy and some lady tapping each other's veins and shooting up. You go around the corner, you got guys that are selling crack, and then people smoking crack right in front of them.
Mm.
It's like it's really falling apart. I keep on saying it. The area is beautiful, can flourish in so many ways, can become better in so many ways, but the things that are being allowed here are holding us down, are causing trauma to our children, are causing trauma to everyday people. This is not normal. This is not how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to have some type of order, not just allow everybody to do everything. I would say last summer and the summer before that, it looked like the Wild West out here. If you ever watch an old Wild West movie, what do you
Yeah.
see? You see, like, the one
Lawlessness.
whorehouse, and all
Yeah.
the ladies are on the balcony calling
Yeah.
guys out. You got the desperados, guys riding in, coming into the area, causing shit and shooting up the place and robbing people. Then you have like
that was going
the
to be the
people.
next thing I asked, but finish your thought. Now that's the
Yeah,
next
no,
thing I'm going to ask.
it's just like it's literally the Wild West over here. It's like you have to be prepared for almost anything. We've had reporters come in, scared to even report in the area.
Right,
I've had guys tell me, it was like, wow, how do you even live here? I'm afraid to just sit in my car and look out the window because I feel everybody's trying to get me.
right,
And this is somebody from the Post, you
right.
know? So
Well,
it's a harsh reality, but it's the reality of Elmhurst and Jackson Heights right now.
it's why I appreciate your stories and your videos and stuff like that, right? Because like even amongst your campaigning, you're still active. You're still active with your activism, trying to clean up the streets, okay, and trying to clean up your streets, right? Which is why you're running, and you know it's like you said, it leads to other things. So we already know that the prostitution. I can only imagine though that the actual trafficking, and heaven forbid, maybe I don't. What I don't know is if any kids or anything have gone missing in your neighborhood because of this shit. That's something scary to me because
Right.
I know it's a bunch of illegal aliens and whatnot in these places, and it's sad for them. I don't want them to go through it either, from being human and being a Christian and whatnot. My Catholic faith doesn't allow me to fucking let that fathom with me that this is happening, because I don't want to see women and children or boys and stuff like that and girls going through this shit. So has any of that stuff like that happened in your neighborhood?
Thankfully, we have never had any issues with hearing anybody gone missing, anybody kidnapped, and or things along those lines. The unfortunate part of it, the human trafficking is coming from elsewhere, and they're being trafficked into our area.
Correct.
So
Right.
that's where a lot of the issues are. There have been times where you do hear one or two people involved in, sequestering people, keeping them, in hotel rooms
Yeah.
and having them, forcefully do this.
Correct.
It's just so many different ways, but it's
Holding them
definitely
hostage.
here.
You hear
Yeah,
you
holding
hear
them
the holding
hostage.
them
Yeah,
hostage, right?
basically somebody stays with a person in like a hotel room that they rent. They keep them there, at gunpoint. Some of them are just beaten. Some of them are tied, and they're kept there. It's truly sad. Again, it's almost impossible to even understand that this is happening, and we can't even begin to understand like the changes that need to come in, because people are
You need
just
to,
afraid
brother. If
every
you need to
single day.
answer that, it's important. I know you're campaigning. It's all good.
Yeah, no, people are, they're scared. They're afraid of just even going to the supermarket. They're afraid of doing regular things. We have packs of drunks just roaming the streets. Some of them, they take over parks and they're just there, doing lewd acts on each other, or amongst the people, sleeping in the
Right.
playgrounds, where toddlers are supposed to play, using it
Right.
as a bathroom.
Where no adults are supposed to be. You're supposed to be, like within 20 feet from a freaking playground if you're a single adult solo and whatnot, right? Like you can't even be. Actually, it's probably actually like 100 feet. You're not even supposed to be that close.
Not
But you
at
got
all. And
these
they're
vagrants.
completely there. There's like 20 drunk dudes just there being belligerent and being, horrible to the community. Just
Right.
the other day I had somebody, they couldn't get out of their house because there was just 10 guys drunk and arguing with each other, and she just wants to walk out of her building, and all she sees out the door are these guys acting, irrationally out in the street, and they use everywhere as a bathroom. It doesn't matter. It's just,
Right.
they're right across the street from the school. They're just pulling out and peeing everywhere.
Right. That well,
It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, I don't know. Maybe your viewers never had to deal with anything like this, but we are a beautiful community. But there's a lot of dirt in this area. There's a lot of dirt
right.
going down that needs to get cleaned up immediately.
Yeah, no, my viewers, they're pretty sharp on the dirt that goes on everywhere. One of the viewers just now was saying, Conserve Reality was saying that NYPD doesn't care. He says he was just in Flushing and he was groped by three street walkers walking down the street on Roosevelt.
That's right. They do it. They do it. They don't care. They're reaching. They're
Yeah,
reaching out. They're grabbing men. They're doing as they please. They think that that's what they want. And then that causes what? That causes an issue. That causes drunk
Right.
people to come over here and act a certain way with regular women.
Right.
Just the other
Because
day,
they think it becomes normalized for them,
exactly.
and
So
they're
now
like,
they think,
well,
all right, so if there's a lady out in the street that's she's a hooker, right?
yeah,
I'm gonna approach her. I'm gonna grab her instead of let her
right.
grab me.
She could just be
Um,
trying to walk home.
just the other day, we had a young lady that was murdered, vehicular homicide. A gentleman
I remember
was
that.
yeah, a gentleman
It's like a
was
week or two ago, right? Like it was like,
propositioning her. She's
yeah,
16 years old. She was out with her mother and her boyfriend and some friends. This man, propositioned her. Something went wrong. Boyfriend ends up fighting in the street. This is all like a few blocks from my house. So the guy gets angry, jumps in his SUV, tries to mow them down, ends up mowing down this young lady. She gets pinned up against a pole, and
was that about
literally
a week or
her
two? Was that
body,
like a week
yeah,
or two ago, right?
about 2 weeks ago, her body
Yeah.
got split in half
Good Lord.
in the middle of the sidewalk.
Right.
Now, this is something that should have never happened here. Why am I able to? Why am I telling this story? This
Right.
shouldn't even be coming out, but it happened, and it happened a few blocks from my own home. It happened a few
Right.
blocks from where so many children live, and so unnecessary, such a violent and gruesome and ugly death that should have
Yeah.
never happened, but it did happen, and it's because of the nature of the area that
Right.
it happened. Because if this area would have been clean, if this area would have been the way it's supposed to be, if it should be respected, it wouldn't. That would have never have occurred here.
What's the response? Curious, because listen again. It's a different time and era back then when I'm gonna be 52 this year, so things were a lot different in the city when I was in my 20s and 30s and stuff like that. But back in the day, when people went to the precinct and complained about shit, things got taken care of. I can only What's the response from the precinct?
They want to work. NYPD wants to work. NYPD knows what they have to do, but is City Council allowing them? Is
Right.
State Assembly allowing them? These laws that they've passed, these soft on crime laws, these revolving doors, these DAs that aren't doing their job. I mean,
The
come on.
Soros DAs. These are the Soros
Exactly.
DAs that are being pushed all across the country.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, I get, somebody commits a small crime or something, then we have to make sure that they're not punished to a degree where it's like a
Right.
capital crime.
Right. Per
Things
the
we have common
Constitution,
sense with
the
things.
the the punishment has to fit the crime. We like I
Exactly.
get that. I understand that. But
Exactly. Like, somebody steals something from a store, you're not going to keep them in Rikers because they took some candy bars. We're going to keep them in Rikers, no bail. All right, we get that. But now, if this person's recurring, right? A recurring criminal, they keep on stealing. All right. So now we have to really, work on this person. We can't just allow them. It's like, all right, so they just stole a candy bar, they stole a candy bar. So that amounts,
it
right?
it, it
It
leads
becomes to
to
something.
it leads to other things, and the Giuliani rule was essentially quality of life crimes, right? So like anything that would destroy anybody's quality of life, no matter how minute it was, even if it was at the minimum, you got a citation, right?
Right.
Like and it was a heavy citation at the time. um, you had to actually show up in court, because if you didn't show up in court, you were going to get picked up.
Right.
All right, there was going to be, again,
There are
it was a
repercussions.
different
There's
time back then. There
repercussions
was
to
going to
what
be
you did. Yeah.
repercussions. You were going to get a
Yes.
bench warrant for a stupid citation. You were going to get picked up. Okay, so um, again, the laws that you're talking about that have been put in place now, okay, signed into law by Cuomo, everybody in New York, okay, Cuomo signed, and Hochul, all right, have signed a lot of these laws into place. And on the New York City side, Diasio signed some stuff, and Eric Adams. Okay, so there is a conglomerate of cess. Okay, between all four of them that have led to the shit that's going on not only in New York State but mainly in New York City, with these cashless, bail and stuff like that. And like you said, you get a recidivist, the guy, because that's what happens, right? The kid steals a candy. Next time when he gets older, he might steal a cell phone from that same store. goes back into the store just a little bit later, okay, and now he wants some money out of the cash register, and now he's got a weapon in his hand because he just progressed, or she progressed, okay, because nothing was ever done when the candy when they stole the candy in the first place correctly,
That's
right?
right.
Like you said,
That's
like we
right.
said, the crime
Nobody
has to
nobody pulled out
the
the belt on them.
correct,
That's
you
it.
know.
That's what it is, and that's what needs to be restored. I mean, I grew up during the Giuliani era. Yeah, it was a little rough. The cops were a little more hard edged, but you know what? People were in order. You didn't see half of the things that you see going
Right.
on right now.
It
Even with
was even,
Bloomberg,
bro,
everything was
brother.
still
It
good.
was it was rougher before. People think the Giuliani era was rough. The cops, the cops would do all kinds of shit prior to that, right? So like the whole Serpico thing changed a lot of things in New York City. They cleaned
Yeah,
up a lot of stuff, but like my mom was on the job in the South Bronx, right? So like I remember the shit she had to go through in her hood, okay, where she worked and stuff like that. My aunt was in the 3-4. I'm mentioning precincts, okay, you know where they were at. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah.
my uncle was the lead detective on the bomb squad during that time too. So they when my mom got on, she got on in 86. It was completely different. Things got better for her, okay, when Giuliani took over. But people don't even understand how hard it really was on the streets prior to that, bro. The local cop in your neighborhood, I still remember this dude's name, Officer Bosco. Okay, if you were cutting up in the streets, all right, he would not only put his foot in your ass or smack you off the top of your head, then he would take you to your house. Okay, knock on the door. Okay, and be like, your son or your daughter was doing this out in the street, and I caught them. I'm not locking them up. I'm bringing them to you. And then you got your ass kicked because you know how your moms are with the chancleta.
That's
Or well,
right.
my mom had a wiffle ball bat, but like
I mean, yo,
she
but
wielded that
people
shit
were
like with the
held in
force.
line, man, and
Yeah,
these cops were definitely different. A lot of the cops that maybe were from that era or were a little bit more hard edge on the job. A lot of them have quit already. A lot of them have given up on NYPD. NYPD is just you know that's another revolving door going on over there. They
yeah.
join for a little while. They say, you know what, I'm out of here. We're not
They
respected
get the
here.
experience in the street and then they bounce.
That's it. Yeah, the work isn't for them. A lot of them say, you know what, I can do this same job and probably get paid better in another state. So a lot of
Right.
them end up leaving. So we have no reason for NYPD or for people, or even the recruits, to feel good about what they're doing right now.
But didn't they change the standards? Right. You used to have to have 60 credits of college or 4 years in the military.
They
Okay, so you
dumbed
had to have
everything
some
down, bro.
experience in
They're
life.
dying for people to join. They've dumbed it down as much as they can, and to the point
DEI
where they're
shit.
getting all these even the traffic cops. They're converting them into PD.
Wow.
So it's like they're dying to get people, and we're not getting any. And then depending on who we have as mayor, it might just get worse. They're saying that
Right.
300 cops quit every month.
It is. It's an astronomical number. Um, I could remember when the classes were like 3,000 cops at a pop when they had a class, right? Like I think it's probably under 1,000 now at some point. Like they've cut, nobody is applying for the job, and the money is way better. After 5 years, you hit six figures in the city. It used to be way under that, right? But they've cut the requirements. They've cut the everything from what do you call it? Being the fitness standards and everything. They did all the DEI woke shit, and now they got a problem. They got a mix of cops that want to do the job, okay, that are in good shape, that actually want to enforce the law. And then you got a bunch of people that are in control of a lot, in charge of all of these cops that are part of the woke DI shit. Okay. So it's just like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So these cops that want to do their job, the ones that go out on the street, they hem somebody up. Next thing you know, they're losing their job
Yeah,
or they're getting arrested. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? They're getting, their whole career is out the fucking window because the city's gonna come after them.
But that's why another reason that I'm running. Just trying to improve quality of life here, create safer streets, and I can do that if I'm in city hall as a city council. We
Right.
can start adapting different laws in here and start restoring things. Bringing a sense of normalcy back to New York City.
So what are some of your
As weird as
what are some of
that
the things
sentence
on your
sounds.
platform? I know, right? Like it does. I got. So what are the things on your? So tell the people some of the things on your platform, the things that you'd like to try to work on while you're at the city. Because
Well,
I have faith. I
number
have faith.
one,
I hope you get. I hope people like you get elected because we need you.
yeah, no, definitely. No, number one is quality of life. that's 100% on my plate because that's what is affected here so much. So we're having a homelessness issue over here. We need the Department of Homeless Services out on the street. We need them doing their job. We need NYPD. We need to back them. We need to fund them, and we need to get them to do their job. So working on that, really enforcing things, really getting people to get out of their office and get out on the street.
Right.
Sanitation barely picks up in our area. So if they need money, guess what? I'm going to try to look for that money, and we're going to get it to sanitation. We're going to build them up, and we're going to get them out in these streets cleaning things up.
Right.
All it really takes is for somebody to have some type of edge and like really push. I feel everybody's coasting. Everybody's just
Right.
like, I can, just chill. I mean, just take a couple of pictures and
It's
I'm out of here.
it's the incumbent lifestyle. Okay, when people have been constantly getting reelected, the same people just getting put back into office. In many cases in New York City, they don't even have anybody running against them, so there's no competition for them, right? So they just
Nothing. There's
keep
no
getting
reason for them to, light a fire under their ass. But
correct.
guess what? I'm here to light that fire. I got a torch. I'm ready to torch everybody. Get out there. Let's get to work. I'm tired, man. I'm tired every single day just off of frustration of, and stressed out from what we see in the street. So you're
Right.
telling me that we're just going to allow that to continue? We can just allow that? We're not going to do any work to fix that? Or we're just going to
Right.
talk about it, right? Oh, we can do this. We can do that. Bro, get out there. Lift up your roll up your sleeves, get your Timbs on, and let's get this work done. That's what's missing out here. I mean,
Gotta hit the streets, man, and knock on doors and stuff like that. Yeah. Um, Yeah, listen, again, it's why we've been bringing, you know, people like you, Elijah, Janine. We got Athena coming on the 24th. I probably missed a few because I couldn't get to them in time and stuff like that. Um,
yeah,
you
great.
know,
These are
but
all great candidates. They're all pushing hard for their community. We have Tyreek Goodman in the Bronx, another one really
I've seen his stuff.
championing the voice of the people, man. We are really the party of the people. We're just here to do the work that is needed, that everybody's screaming for, that everybody wants. And it's so blatant. The things that need to get cleaned up, but everybody sidesteps these questions. Everybody's like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to answer that. Come on, man, let's get to work here.
Right. No, man, you're 100% correct, bro. But again, it's why I appreciate your stories and your videos and whatnot. It's like I just once I found you, I was like, oh wait a minute. I was like, he's running too, and I'm cool with all the cafecito break people and stuff like that,
Yeah,
with
great guys,
Cozy and
great
Ra
guys.
and all of them and everything, with King Jesus and Devious 7.0 and everything. So just like I was like, I gotta bring these guys on because it's just important. Again, there's a part of me that it's still New York City, okay? Even though I'm not there anymore, there's still a part of me, my heart, there's a part of my heart that's still there because I lived through through some ups and downs in New York City, and it's been down for so long now that it's bugging me. And I grew up in a very long portion of it being down, but I got to experience what it was like, okay, when good things are actually happening, right? We were at one point the safest city in the world, man.
Yeah, and
Okay,
that's
we were
all
literally
changed
at one
now,
point the safest city in the world. You know,
and it's
people
all
in the chat
completely
are saying they
changed.
hope you win. Rogue Nina's I'll ride or die. She says she hopes you win.
Thank you.
Um,
Yeah, so everybody watching, all your support is welcome. We're still collecting donations if you can, campaign contributions. You can find it online, ramses4nyc.com.
your links in the description, fam.
There you go.
All his
Links in the
links are in the
description.
description.
You guys can share everything. You guys can see everything that I'm doing. Support. Even just sharing my posts to others. It makes a difference. It lets more people see. It makes more people understand what New York is going through right now,
Yeah,
and how quickly we can change it by working together.
correct. You're
That's all
100%
they're really
correct,
going to
man.
take. We unify, and things can change for the better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, Cass, it's good to see you, honey. I agree with you, man. It is an effort that listen, you guys, it's not something that's insurmountable, okay? And we're gonna start getting into some other things right now. 'Cause even with Curtis Sliwa, okay, I know the pundits would like you to think that he can't win. That is actually a crock of shit, right?
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that, man? We got what happens if we get a Zoran Mamdani?
First of all, Curtis Lewa for mayor. That's my guy right there. Guardian angel, tough dude, real stand up New Yorker. Been doing it for years. He deserves all the support that we can give him. Everybody needs to stand behind this man so we can, make sure that the mayor's office is in good hands. We can't
Right.
have a socialist, a young socialist at that, 33 years old, guy
He's
that's never
he's
really held a position in his life. You
he's a
know,
trust fund baby, man. His mom taking care of him. He's a Marxist jihadi at that, so that he's
yeah,
got the double whammy with him.
yeah, you're coming from money. You're coming from this world that already is come from Uganda. Uganda has its issues in itself. So whatever that's been instilled into this gentleman, and God knows what he really wants to do. He's a double talker. He tells you one thing, now all of a sudden he's changing his tone with so many other things. They keep telling him he needs to apologize to NYPD instead of saying sorry NYPD for the things that I've said. Let's
He's
work
not going
together. He
to.
says, "Oh no, I speak to individuals in the NYPD. I talk to cops individually." What are you
Yeah.
telling me, man? You're not telling me that you're changing your ways. You're telling me that you're stuck with what you want to do, which is dismantling the NYPD and letting havoc just be wreaked all over New York City. We're not gonna allow that. And I know the real New Yorkers are starting to realize these things. They're not allow these out of towners and transplants to come in and dictate our city and narrate and
I
make this the
I
way
agree.
that they think is Shangri-La. This isn't gonna be your Shangri-La. This isn't some hippie town. We're here to make things and put things in order and keep this beautiful city thriving, right, and growing. We're the we make so much money here, right? We're the
Yeah.
the style capital of the world. Everybody looks to New York for everything, and now all of a sudden we're gonna, have government owned facilities, selling groceries. We're gonna have
Yeah.
government owned properties, so nobody can have private property. Now everything's gonna be what, NYCHA? So everything's NYCHA. NYCHA's
Yeah.
horrible right now. The building collapsed in the
Yeah.
Bronx.
Yep.
They haven't even sent one repair crew for that.
Yep.
The debris is still out in the street, and you're gonna tell me this is we're gonna have more of that?
Let's see. The thing is with this, because he's actually telling everybody what he's going to do. So if you just listen to what he says, he's telling you exactly. Listen, okay, the Marxists have been at it in this country since the late 19th century, man. They have infiltrated absolutely every institution in the United States. They started in this side of the hemisphere. They actually started in Latin America. Then they creeped up here into the U.S. You've seen what Marxism has done to like almost 90% of Latin America. Even in the places that are so-called free, they still got Marxist ideology there. So this is a guy who grew up with it. He grew up with Marxism. He grew up with jihadism. Okay, these are two things that he's talked about. All right, that he's open about. Okay, then he tries to, like you said, he tries to talk a little bit on the other side of his mouth, but he's already said the things that he's for and the things that he wants to do. So, like, if you just listen to him, it's not hard. What I'm well, I guess I understand why the youth are so attracted to him, because they've all been indoctrinated since elementary
Yeah,
school
they don't know
to
any
believe
better.
that Marxist ideology is the way to go. Everywhere that socialism has been tried, it has failed. Okay, and the people are the ones that always suffer. This guy's not going to do anything for the city that's going to work. Okay, especially with these government grocery stores and whatnot. Yeah, look how that shit happened. Look how that went in Cuba and stuff like that, right? Like that's really
Horrible,
good. Look how
horrible. People are gonna
Venezuela went
be
with all of
waiting
that
for
shit.
rations.
Yeah,
We're gonna be walking in
exactly.
and say, okay, we gave you 2 pounds of rice. You're only allowed one this month.
Correct.
Come on, man.
That's
That's not New
that's
York, bro.
exactly
That's not New
that's
York.
ex-
That's not
yeah,
how we
that's
work here.
exactly.
We have Wall Street here, right? And we're all of a sudden we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna
He's
get rid
looking.
of being the financial capital of the world.
He will absolutely crumble it, man. His not only his ideology, the things that he wants to do will absolutely decimate the city. Listen, billions of dollars have already left New York City. Okay, and this was actually pre-COVID. COVID made it worse. Okay, some people managed to stick around and decide to weather the storm, and they made out okay after it and stuff like that. But if he slides into the mayoral office, it's going to be a wrap. There's going to
It's gonna
be
be a
some really
mass
big,
exodus, bro.
yeah,
People are not gonna deal with this.
yeah, and
Everybody's
it's going
just
to make
gonna
it
leave.
worse.
So many people already want to leave. They're like, you know what? I just gotta get out of here. I hear it all the time. I hear it from
Yeah,
family members like, when are you out? When are you ready to go?
yeah,
When are we leaving? Even my kids, dad, that's it, enough. And and they're in high school. I have one in college. They've seen everything. They've seen, the stress that this has brought upon me and them, and they're tired. They're like, all
right.
right, enough is enough, dad. Let's go. But there's something that's like, nah, I can't just yet. I have to do this part. I have to show that there is, light at the end of the tunnel. I can
It's a good
show that
it's a good
this
lesson
area
to teach them
can
anyway.
move. Yeah.
To fight for what you believe in and
No.
stuff like that. Stand up, okay? When it's time, when you're being told to stand up, stand up. When you get the feeling that you need to stand up for something, stand up for something. Even if we
No.
disagree with one another, stand up.
No.
Okay, stand up for what you believe in. So I think it's a fantastic lesson. You're actually showing your children that you're willing to stand in front of the lead that's coming, for
Yeah,
them and
man.
for
I'm out
everybody in
there,
your neighborhood.
front lines on everything, bro. Everything. There's organized crime. We have, again, human trafficking, sex trafficking, prostitution, open air drug markets, bands of drunks. Like, and I'm out there in their faces. Like, what are you guys doing? And how is this being allowed? And then when I call out all the representatives here, because we have State Assembly, Catalina Cruz, we have Jessica Gonzalez Rojas State Assembly, Stephen Raga State Assembly, Francisco Moya District City Council over in 21, even though he's leaving, and he did the bare minimum to make sure that he made it look somewhat decent, but just gave up right now since he knows he's out the door.
Right.
Senator Ramos, championing, calling things prostitution sex work. We have AOC, who represents a lot of the district. Grace Meng, Julie Wan, the city council, and then the guy that I'm against, Shekhar Krishnan, who says, he's a part of the Parks Commission and says that we're desperately in Queens need more park space, but voted to give away 78 acres or more, I believe, to having a casino in our area. These are all
That's over by.
parkland,
Is that the one that's going over by City Field?
Metropolitan Park
The,
by City Field.
yeah.
And then he's like, oh, we need more park space, but you voted
Right.
to give it all away. We have the park space, we have it already. But
Right.
Flushing Meadow Park now, what does that look like? That looks like a shithole. You go over there, everybody's just selling things. It's like a market, and there's
Right.
no control. We have people. We
Bro,
actually have a night market that people pay for. That
no
they
shit.
actually that they actually pay for, and set up booths and have food and all these things. But then on the other side of the park, everybody's just doing it without paying for a permit.
Right.
Anybody can get sick. There's no refrigeration. There's
Right. So
no
you
there's
got
no
you got
bathrooms.
one side doing it the right way, following the rules and trying to, keep things healthy and cleansly, clean and stuff like that. So when people come to get their food and stuff like that, nobody gets sick. And then the other side just does whatever they want.
Whatever they want, and we see it in the street. We have mom and pop shops, brick and mortar shops. They're paying their taxes. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're paying employees, and then right in front of them, somebody's cutting, undercutting them, selling things for pennies on the dollar,
Right.
compared to them too, because they have to serve the community a certain way, and
Right.
have their licenses. But somebody over here is just selling pinchos out of a shopping cart. Like, come on, where's that balance? There's no balance here. We can't just allow people to do what they please here. We need some type of structure. Society
So,
needs structure.
oh yeah, there's always got to be some order. Listen, I'm all about freedom and I'm all about property rights and people being able and gun rights and everything. I'm all about that, the Constitution and stuff like. But there still has to be some order. Okay, we have to live our lives a certain way. We can't just go around with anarchy. Okay, because that's how people get hurt, and that's how all kinds of other things freaking spurn from that. Um, did you see all this prostitution and everything? I'm just curious question. Did you see it over the last 4 years? Did that when it escalated? Because you said there was always
Yeah,
been an element there,
super.
but like,
It's always been there. You knew where it was. You knew it was the massage parlors, but they were inside. They weren't standing outside.
right.
And then once we let in, we opened the borders. That brought the Latinas to be out there now. So we have a lot of Venezuelans, a lot of Colombians that are now prostituting themselves. Majority now is really the Venezuelan community that came into the area, and a
Mm.
lot of these women are prostituting themselves. You'll see them even on TikTok. They're doing TikTok dances. They're having fun, and you see them right, out on Roosevelt Avenue. And these are
Broad
women that are,
daylight.
working and pulling johns off the street. So
Broad
it's
daylight too. Like right in the
broad
middle of the daytime.
daylight, broad, you name it. It doesn't matter what time it is. They're right next to McDonald's. They're right next to Dunkin' Donuts.
It's catching people coming back from the club when you're trying to go just go get all you're trying to do
Yeah,
is get a
you want to
double
go get
quarter
some
pounder with
some little
cheese
munchies?
at
You
four
want some
o'clock in the
taco?
morning.
No, you could get tacos. You're gonna get the other side of tacos too. It's wild, man. It is wild. Like I said, it was always around in my hood. It was always something that we saw. As a kid, you just knew where it was. But right now, it's in your face. I
Right.
never had a prostitute pull me when I was 15 years old, talking about, hey, come over here. But they're doing it to the kids over here. I never forget one day. I was going to the bodega. I see two like teenagers. It was like over the summer. Two teenagers like contemplating, like, yo, they're gonna do it. You see them talking to each other, like, yo, let's go. Trying to convince each other. So I'm
Right.
seeing that play out, and I seeing the women like calling them over, and I'm seeing them like battle it within themselves. Even one of them calls their boy up, like, yo, what's up? I think I'm gonna do this. I'm here, and I'm like, yo, like this is not how you become a man, bro. This is not how you're
No,
gonna.
I
This is
got you.
just gonna ruin you in the future. I went
Yeah.
up. I had to go up to him and tell
Yeah.
them, like, this is not the way you're gonna become a man. This is not gonna
Not
prepare you for anything in the future.
not to mention the fucking gift that you might get from it too.
Yeah, you want an STD, bro. You're gonna have something. You're gonna get burned for the rest of your life, bro. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be nasty, and nobody's gonna want you after that because you're gonna be known as that nasty dude.
The leaky dick, nigga.
Yeah, like
That
come on,
leaky dick
man.
cat.
You don't need none of that. You don't need that in your life. So I told him, I was
It's
like, yo,
true.
this is not gonna help you, man. Just be a regular kid right now. You 15, 16 years old. Be a 15-year-old, man. And if you like a girl, talk to her with respect, man. Just be real.
Right.
This whatever you're thinking of, whatever you're looking at, this is not reality.
I'm glad they had you, man. Honestly, I'm really glad they had you, man.
It's tough, man.
To
I
come
feel
and
like sometimes I end up in places, for a reason. And I just looking around, I'm like, damn, I have to step in and talk right here.
right.
Because I easily could have just said, these kids are screwed. I'm out. I don't care.
Yeah. Nah,
And
but
that's
that's
and
not
that's
you,
a
man.
lot. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah, but that's not you. Like you're working, you're genuinely working to try to fix the hood. So that includes everybody, kids,
Yeah,
women,
yeah.
children, kids, other
Anybody,
people.
even the women that are prostituting themselves, I would love for them to say, "Can you help me?"
Right.
Now they know who I am. They see me walking. They cross the street.
Right.
They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get out of this guy's way. He's probably recording or something, or
He's on,
he
he's on
he
a
doesn't
tear
want
right
us here."
now.
But they see me.
Yeah.
They've seen me already,
Right.
and in numerous rallies. I would love to just help them. I don't want them to have that life. I feel like they don't need
Right.
to be doing that.
Right. I agree with you. It's a,
They
it's a
don't have the
nasty life.
opportunity. Yeah, it's horrible, and they don't need that.
Yeah.
There's so
It's
many
not like the
opportunities.
freaking bunny ranch in Vegas. This is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is bad. Because in most cases, they live like animals. Um, they don't really have any freedom whatsoever. They look like they're free on the street, but they're not. There's always somebody watching them.
Yeah,
If they step out of line the wrong way, it's going to turn out very bad for them in the long run and stuff like that. So it's a really, really nasty life.
It is,
And
man. It is. And with, like I keep on saying, if we work together, things can change out here. If
agreed.
more people start fighting against the things that are wrong, clearly wrong, they'll have to listen,
Right.
because it's enough of this just, being complacent and just, letting people beat you down.
Right.
We're more than what we're presented with. When I step outside, I see opportunity, I see beauty, I see sun, I see people living their lives that, they're striving for better. But there's this dark cloud that just looms over our area, and it's allowed to stay there. That's the problem, because all these politicians that are in office, all they do is pass the buck, right? Oh, that's a city issue problem. That's a state problem. That's the Senate's problem. That's Congress. That's this. That's that. No.
Right.
You represent Jackson Heights. You represent
It's
Elmhurst.
your problem. Yeah, it's
You
your problem.
represent Queens. That whole group, everybody right there. I don't care if you're blue, red, yellow,
Right.
purple.
It's your problem.
That's, yeah, it's our problem collectively. So why can't we not come together and be like, yo, chill. This is not gonna go down this way. This is time.
Right.
It's time to say, you know what? All right, we allowed it. We saw what was going on. Things are getting fucked up, and we're gonna come together now and let's make it happen. It's
It's
simple.
it
It's simple.
it's it used to be like that, man. I'm telling you, bro. Like I know it's hard for you. Like when I tell people this again, it's because of my age. I'm telling you, man. It used to be where the red and the blue got together and they talked. Like, listen, the red in New York has always been kind of purple, right? There's been
Yeah,
pockets of conservatism and stuff like that.
yeah. They call them
Okay,
the
like people,
rhinos.
yeah, yeah, right. They're people like us that are actually true conservatives because of our beliefs and our way of life and the way we live our lives and stuff like that. Okay, but you have to understand the dynamic of the New York Republican has always been kind of purple, right? And they will do conservative things, but they will be a little bit more progressive than the
Yeah, I mean, because
average
you have to be
person.
real here, right? We're
Yeah,
it's not like this isn't the Bible Belt. It's New York. So we have to know that certain things, work a certain way because it's New York. But
right.
to allow,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. There was never we just gonna stand by and just let like,
Yeah, no, things
anarchy
were done.
happen.
Things
It
were
was
done with
never like that. And
class.
even people like I said on the left, okay, in New York were still, again, this was a different time and era. The left wasn't in complete control. It was literally down the middle. George Pataki didn't do anything to help the Republican Party further itself. He had a fantastic shot at doing that. He didn't, um, and make it better, and he just didn't do it. He didn't hold his end. Giuliani did the best he can, but he was busy running a city. Then 9/11 happened and whatnot. He was on his way out anyway. Uh, but it used to be down the middle, man, and like you understood that, right? No matter where you stood on the fence, okay, on either side of the fence, you understood that there was always some sort of compromise on every level of government, right? People would talk with one another, okay. And if you had, like, for instance, when I moved up to Rockland County, it was still a very conservative county at the time. It was still very red, so like it was still a lot of good things were happening in the county at the time. Then it became blue for a little bit and shit started to go downhill. Then it became red again and it's kind of stabilized out. But you understood the dynamic and stuff like that. Like there was always compromise. It's the same thing. Used to be like that in California too. I spent time out in Cali, stationed out there in the 1990s, man. It was different. It was kind of split down the middle with things. Um, it's just sad to see, man. I just,
It's
again,
horrible, man.
it's why we bring you guys on, man, because it's just important for everybody to hear this message, man. I'm all about local, local, local. And in New York City, even though it's a city, the major city in the United States and in the world, it's still very local.
It is. It is. A lot of the things happen on the local level, and that's where things can, the control can start. I say it all the time. If I can change, or if I can help bring about a change into this district, the rest of the city will be like, yo, they made it happen right there. They were able
Right.
to fix a lot. And the rest of the city will be like, yo, we seeing that, and we know they just need an example. They
What are
need
some of the other
something to
things?
follow.
I know the prostitution and the drugs and shit. What are some of the other things you're looking to fix in your
Education,
district?
man. I want these kids to have so many opportunities. We've like strayed away from vocational training.
Oh, I remember that,
Our schools
bro.
need that. We need that.
Bro, we
We
had
need
high
people to
schools,
work
man.
in our infrastructure.
New York City literally had high schools, okay, dedicated to trades, man.
They still
And then,
have like pockets now. A lot of these
not like,
schools, have little things, but not like before. We need people
yeah,
to understand you can become an electrician and get paid
yeah.
super well.
Someone mentioned BOCES, but that's more of a regional thing. I know in Westchester and in Rockland County they have it, probably in Orange County as well, and Putnam and Ulster. But New York City literally had, bro. I don't know if it still exists. They had the high school of aviation.
Aviation's
Where
still around, thank God.
okay, they had the high school of freaking now. What was there was one in Brooklyn in Bay Ridge that was dedicated to the trades at the time. Um,
Nice. Yeah, no,
it
we
was
still have we
literally
still have that. We have Queens. It's called Queens Technical, where they can teach you to become an electrician. I believe you can learn plumbing,
okay.
construction,
So they kept
things
that
like
going.
that. But
Yeah.
it needs to be as something that you can strive for. It's kind of like a side thing.
It's not advertised to the average kid
Right.
essentially.
It's
Like,
not
oh
like,
hey,
hey,
this
look,
is
you can do this, and once you
yeah, there's an
graduate, you
option.
can join a union, and you can be getting paid
Right.
and joining the workforce and
Right.
making great money. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're busting your ass making that money, but it's gonna pay back.
Yeah.
It
No,
it comes with its perks.
it's not advertised anymore. So, but I know they got rid of. I know under De Blasio they got rid of most of the schools and stuff like that. Um,
Right
you
now, we
know.
just opened up in Queens on Northern Boulevard, where Sports Authority was. They
Mhm.
tore it down, and they made this wonderful facility where they're going to be teaching, healthcare. So you can come out of there, you know, getting
Is this a
ready
high
to
school or is this
a
just
high school.
like a no
No,
shit?
it's a high school, and it's a brand new facility. Teaches teaching healthcare, so you can come out of
That's
there,
good to know.
to become an X-ray tech, CAT
Yeah.
scans,
Yeah.
doing lab work,
So yeah.
nursing, doctor, physician assistant. This
Yeah,
is
it
what we
gives you
need more of.
the foundation you need in the sciences and stuff like that,
Right.
so that you could move on to
We
college.
need
And
STEM.
but like you said, you can if you want to be, if you don't want to go to college and you want to go right to work, you could become a phlebotomist, you could become a medical assistant, being a PA and all that other stuff. You got to go to college, then a master's. Nursing, you got to go to college, and you can go to get your master's and
Right.
doctorate after that,
And if we
or
can
go
get them
become a doctor.
started early with
Yeah,
that, which is what we're supposed to be doing,
right.
it'll make such a huge difference here, and it will create so many opportunities, and
Well,
it'll build our workforce back up.
the Bronx School of Science still exists.
Bronx School of Science is still out there. Stuyvesant is, I believe, is still the best high school out here. And we have great minds,
Right.
even when it comes to art. How many artists? How many musicians? Sports.
Yeah.
These are
LaGuardia still
all.
exists.
What was
LaGuardia
that?
High School still exists.
LaGuardia High School still out. Yep,
That's the School
LaGuardia is
of
still there.
Arts, Fame.
Um,
If you're familiar with
we
Fame.
have the Frank Sinatra, Frank Sinatra School. That one's mostly for people that are in the arts and
Hmm.
drama, entertainment. We have pieces, but it just needs
Right.
to be a majority.
Gelled
We need
together.
to
It needs
get
to be
yeah.
gelled together is what it needs to be.
Yep.
Um, again, I mean, I can remember because I went to junior high school in New York City. So, like these were things that were at the time, I was advised on because I had great grades. So they were like, you can go to this school, you can go to that school. Then we moved out of the city. So like, and once I went to Rockland County, I went from being an A student to a C student and ended up with a big fucking chip on my shoulder
Yep.
because I realized that the education I got in New York City was nothing like what I got up in Rockland County. And it became hard for me. I was on a whole other level and stuff
Right.
like that. So like, all through high school, I struggled and got a chip on my shoulder because of that. Because like I said, I was an A student in Brooklyn, and I go up, then all through freaking straight through junior high school, and then I go up to Rockland County, and I was a C student. But when I actually did apply myself, by the time I got to my senior year, I was getting A's again and stuff like
There
that.
you
But I
go.
was
I
like, I
mean,
was
you had to
pissed
go
off.
through it, but you made it happen.
Yeah, right.
But this is
Uh,
just something that we just need more of. We need I need more STEM programs. I need art. I need music. I need direction. I need kids to know that there's a future. I need them to know that Queens is the future. Just coming out of Queens, just being here, that you have a future bright. You're exposed to so many cultures that you can adapt to everything. And you can
Right.
you're just like this chameleon. Like you can do anything. Literally, you make it here, you make it anywhere, but we need to help them make it. We can't just leave them out there to have them figure out, oh, I'm gonna be a TikTok star, or I'm gonna be on social
Uh,
media or an
that's like
influencer. Nah, man.
that's like 1% of people on social
Like
media that are
forget
making
about the
money like that.
influencers. You know how you could influence other children by showing them that you made it happen. You could
Right.
influence your family to show them like, wow, look, this kid came up. He made it. He's doing great. I didn't expect that from him, especially from his background. But look at him. He's doing a great job. I got my guys that I came up with. They're not in jail.
Right.
They came out. My brothers
Same.
aren't in jail. Everybody's chilling. We
Yeah.
we we came from the hood, but we weren't acting like hood rats. We was
Right.
out there, but we made it happen. We knew that there was something better. We had to look for it. We didn't have direction. At high school, over here, it was just like, yeah, just go to class, just try to
Yeah.
pass. They're
Yeah.
not telling you, oh, look, you can make it in. You can make it in this field.
Right.
You can make
Well,
it in that field. You could
the,
work
the
in finance.
the guidance counselors were all failed teachers and shit. They couldn't teach in the class, so they made them guidance
Guidance
counselors
counselor,
or
bro. I
whatnot.
don't even know who my guidance counselor ever were. Like they never spoke to me.
Did they even show up to work?
Exactly. Like I didn't even know where their office was. I went to Flushing High School to ask me where the office for the guidance counselor was. No, they
They
didn't
never
reach
reached
out to
out, never
you.
set up an appointment or
Nothing,
nothing.
nothing. They don't want you to do anything over there. They're just like they're hiding in their office. All right, it's 3 p.m. I'm out.
Yeah.
And that's enough of that, right? With us, it's the same thing that's happening in so many city offices in so many places. Right now, the guidance counselors are going through it because they're considered counselors, right? We have now therapists in schools, of which I feel we need
Well,
even more of.
we've had therapists for a long time, but even them, it's just that they're not really doing anything therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's just to push an agenda. You have a question from Conserve Reality. He says, Ramses, did you know about the BOCES program and the EOC program? Maybe you can add that into your campaign so you can get kids and communities those opportunities for trade skills and jobs.
Yeah, no, those are great programs that I would love to have implemented out here. These are things that these students need to know, that parents need to know, that our schools need to know, and need to push out there. Like I said, man, we're not gonna have a world full of influencers. We need people that know how to do plumbing. We need people that know how to put up the electric lines. We need people uh, to lay down asphalt.
Yeah,
There's just so much work that pays well. We need people to
right.
work in Con Ed, right? We're just not
Oh yeah, that's a fucking grift and a half,
right.
man. If you get into Con Ed, you're set.
You're
Or you get
set.
into
You're living
Verizon, you get
life.
into
You'd be
Verizon,
great.
you're set.
Yeah, you're great. And they don't know about these opportunities. Nobody's
Right.
telling them. They're telling them you have to go to college. You got to do this. You got to do that. Some people aren't made for college. They can't
Most
sit in a
people, I'm gonna
classroom.
be. Most people are not made for college. College isn't made for us anyway. It's made to just indoctrinate. I think college is a scam. Not all of college. I think that if you're going on to become obviously a lawyer, a professional, an engineer, a doctor, a nurse, something like that, something that's a more professional thing. Obviously, you need that education. We can never get rid of those. But most of college, bro, is just my brother. Okay, our guidance counselor. We had the same guidance counselor told my brother who was a straight A student, fucking 4 point, 300 or whatever the fuck he had in high school, my younger brother, okay, that he would never become a doctor. All right. He's been practicing now forever. All right. And then and my brother, even my brother told me, he's like, man, when I went to go take the MCATs, okay, he's like, if they would have just taught me college, like how I took my MCAT classes, I would have saved 4 years of college and just fucking taken 3 weeks of these MCAT classes and passed.
There you
Okay,
go.
and to take
Get to the
the
point.
entrance exams into yeah, he was just like it was just such a waste of time.
Yeah.
He's like the bullshit they make you go through, classes that have nothing to do with medicine and stuff like that that I had to freaking take. It's just bullshit. He goes, and it's not just with medicine. He goes, any of your professions. It's just you got all these bullshit classes that you don't even need to take. And you got all these kids now, they got them all thinking that they're going to be gender study gurus and stuff like that. You want gender studies? Fucking drop your pants and look at yourself. There you know. So you find out what gender you are. It's really simple. It takes 2 seconds. There's your
Yeah,
gender
then they
studies.
then they end up, being your barista. Like, come on, man. This is what you wasted all your money on to do
And you're in
this.
debt. And you're in
You're
debt.
in debt now. You're stuck, and you're making coffee.
Yeah.
I want you to own the spot. I'd rather you
Right.
own the coffee shop instead of you working in it. I would rather you become an entrepreneur and make money. I want you to have financial freedom. I want you to know that there's more to what is being offered to you. And that's what needs to get pushed. That's the reality that needs to get pushed. Instead of, feeding them all these handouts. Well, I'm giving you this. Give them the tools that they need to survive. Give them the
Yeah.
tools of understanding.
They're there, by the way. Okay, the tools are actually there. They're still there. I
They're
know
there.
it seems like they're not, and it's like I tell people, I try to tell people all the time, is like the mechanism for change, okay, for the better in our country is still there. The Constitution hasn't changed. Okay, it's us as a society. A lot of the shit that is happening to us right now is self-inflicted. Okay, we've given up so much of our control to government as a whole, not just the federal government, just government as a whole, no matter what level. Okay, that because they don't teach civics anymore. I was still getting civics class from elementary school all through high school. Okay, I got some sort of civics class. All right, going back to elementary school, we were learning
No, they're
civics. They don't
definitely not
teach that
teaching
shit
that right
anymore.
now.
Nobody knows that anymore, right? Any kind of world history or anything like that, you're lucky if you get like a half a semester on absolutely anything. Okay, they're not teaching anything. They rather have you completely in a shell, okay, just dumbified and everything dumbed down, right? And they don't push these kids anymore. Okay, like
They
we
don't.
got pushed, like we were forced, okay, to learn something or you're gonna fail. It's just that simple. Your grade's gonna suck, okay, and you can't do anything. And in our house, there was no sports, okay, if your grades sucked. Like we had
No.
we had repercussions for sucking. Our coaches, you're not gonna be fucking on the football field or you're not gonna get on the track if you don't get your shit right. Like, again, this was when Rockland County was still conservative, so that even the teachers were fairly conservative. Our deans and our principal were conservative, and our coaches were conservative. And it was like, you can't get on my field until like I just got a freaking thing from your teachers, okay? Because that's how my coaches used to check on all his players, okay? No matter what sport I was playing, our coaches checked. All right. And if you didn't meet the certain criteria, we had to, it wasn't C's. Like, it was like you got to be at a minimum of B, okay? And if you're not going to get on the field, that's it. You won't play. You'll be
And
off
our
the team,
teachers, our
okay?
teachers are suffering right now too. They don't. They have to deal with, like, 30 kids in a classroom.
Yeah.
You're trying to control 30 different attitudes. They're going through it. They need more help. They need more resources. Even though we're feeding a lot of money into the board of ed over here, but it's not showing.
Bro, the Board of Education, the Board of Ed, okay, the budget for the Board of Education is larger than like 90% for New York City than 90% of the country of the world. Okay, like there are countries that don't have a budget
So that
that
means
the New
we
York City
all
Board
should
of
be
Education has.
advanced. That means
Yeah,
everybody should have top of the line technology in their schools. That means our schools should be revamped and should be pristine. What do we have? We have kids that can barely read,
that's
kids
sad,
that
man.
can't do math, basic math,
Basic skills. You're right. These are basic
basics.
skills that they
Yeah,
should have to survive. Okay, we're not talking about algebra and all. Just basic adding and subtracting. Like if you can't add and subtract and do some division and multiplication, you're fucked. You can really be like you can't do anything just with those simple
simple,
things.
simple. And then the correction answer, simple. We can just let's focus on what's really necessary,
Right. I
but it's
agree.
not being done.
There's a lot of fluff in education as a whole. Again, most of it is indoctrination, but the actual educating portion of it is fluff, a lot of it. But they're just basic things that they need to know. Okay. Believe it. The average kid, again, unless you get into a trade, and stuff like that, where you still need math, right? They don't understand that like, oh yeah, I'm going to be an electrician, yeah, but
No,
you're
no,
failing in math.
you have to do formulas
You still
still.
need math, okay?
Yeah.
If you can't do fractions, you're fucked. All
Right.
right, if you can't do, because then you can't get measurements and stuff like
Right.
that. So
Exactly. Yeah.
there's still basic things that need to be taught and everything. But it's sad, man. It's just sad to see. And again, New York City, again, in my youth, New York City was still one of the best education as far as cities, okay, in the country at the time. One of the best. I won't say the best, but one of the best. There were definitely I'm talking about major cities. As far as like school districts, there was always these school districts up in Massachusetts that were always the best in the country. Rockland County, we were like number 10. Uh, as a whole and stuff like that for a very long time in the nation. So like there are pockets of places where the education is great, but I agree, man. We got to get it. We got to get our cities. We got to get our city kids educated, not taught, because you can teach them anything. They need to be educated, okay? And we need
Educated.
actual educators. So like mixed in with the actual educators who are suffering in their classes because, like you said, overcrowded classes, the 30 freaking attitudes that they have to deal with, the actual educators. You got people who just are there because they wanted to get tenure. Now that they're tenured, you can't get rid of them, and they suck,
Yep.
right? They're like, yeah, bounce me from class to class, school to school. You can't fire me. So like that there's a portion of that too. So it hurts the actual educators who are there, and then they end up leaving. The good ones end up leaving, right? They leave the city and they go either to the suburbs, or they leave the state and go somewhere else. Like fuck it, I'll take a shittier freaking salary somewhere else where I know I'm not gonna have the same abuse and stuff like that and everything. It's
Yep.
sad.
Yep. They're running to their safe haven, right? Their
Hmm.
what keeps them comfortable. But again, like I say, the changes can come. People uniting, people fighting for the same thing, fighting for something that's real and substantial, and the changes can come. So this is why I continue to fight. This is why I continue to push. This is why I will make sure that this community becomes the change that everybody wants to see, because it's just that simple. I have the drive, I have the heart, I have the push, and I want to do this for everyone. This isn't for me, this isn't for a select group of people. This is for everyone within this district, so it can spread out to this whole city, then to this state, and then to this nation. It has to start somewhere. It has to start with someone. I will take that work on. I'll take on that full load. I will take on whatever work that needs to be done to show that a real change can come from this city, can come from this area, that people can flourish and become the best of themselves in this area, and leave a mark. This is something that I'm going to push for. I'm not going to stop. I will not finish until the job is done.
Appreciate that, man. We need more people like you, man. We do, and it's good to see that you have that. It's evident that you have that drive, okay, and you actually you want to fix. It's not just your hood you're trying to fix. You're trying to move it on to take that energy and hopefully get it across to other people, in the council. If when you get elected, because I could feel like you feeling good about it and stuff like that and everything,
I
because I
feel
feel
great,
good.
man. I feel great. I feel great. People, they're gonna see the ballot. They know that the incumbent was there. They know what he's been doing or what he's allowed for the past few years of him being there. If they want to see something different, if they want to see a different attitude, if they want to see, cleaner streets, if they want to see somebody that can work with community leaders and law and order alike to ensure that things are taken care of in our area respectfully, they'll vote for me. It's just that simple.
Well, we'll keep pushing you, bro,
Thank you,
because
man.
New York City definitely needs the new blood, right?
Thank you
So
very much, man. I
why we
appreciate
brought
this
Elijah.
opportunity of being here. This is a great show. Everyone that joined and viewed, and with your questions and your comments, thank you so much for your support. Follow me on my social media. Follow me on everything that I do. Trust me, I'm gonna make a difference out here, and it's gonna come, off the sweat off my back, and I'm gonna represent for everybody that supported me.
Hold on, brother. That's that. Listen, man. You got it, man. Like I told Elijah, I was like, when you win, I hope you guys come back, okay, and celebrate a little bit because we need you guys. We need the new blood. The city needs a new blood, and for older guys like me, man, it's just good to see that energy because I used to have that energy. I don't have it anymore because now I'm set in my fucking ways. I've
You're
been through
good,
it
man. You're
enough in my
still
life,
helping. You're
man.
still helping. That's what makes a difference.
Listen, I do what I can, man. I use my platform for anybody who's all about freedom and trying to make a good change. And America First has been around for a long time for me, way before Trump. It's always been in my heart. It's always been in my soul. It doesn't make a difference that my family's from PR or anything like that.
No,
I'm an
man.
American,
USA,
man.
man. We're number one, bro. That's how I grew
Yeah,
up.
that's how I grew up too, man. And listen, I've served the nation. On two separate occasions, I swore the oath. Um, even though the
Thank you
first
for your
time I swore it,
service, my
because
brother.
it stays with you forever. And the second time was after 9/11. First time out of high school, I went right into the Marines. Second time was after 9/11. I went into the Army, and found myself in Iraq. So even with everything I know now, if the way I love this country, man, is if the country called again, I'd do it again. Yeah, no questions
That's
asked.
real, man. That's real. That
No,
comes from the heart.
nobody has to ask me to do it again, mainly because I'd rather do, if not me, then who? And I'd rather it be me than some young kids that, like, don't have their shit together.
Yep.
uh and stuff. Yeah, it's funny because, like, I served I remember my son asking me, he was crying, why did you go? You could have died, but I'm glad you're home and all this stuff. He was like 12 at the time. And I remember telling him, and I was like, I did it because I didn't want you to have to go at some point, no matter how
There
you
you
feel
go.
about things later in life. And it just so happens that he ended up becoming a Marine, and during uh at the end of Obama, beginning of Trump, he was in the Gulf on the USS, because he went into the Marines fixing F-18s, and
Okay.
he was on the Theodore Roosevelt when they were smashing the shit out of ISIS. Making sure that his jets and everything, like he said, I did all of that shit. He ended up having to do a tour too,
Right, right.
even though he wasn't in country anywhere. He was in theater though,
But he
and
took it.
stuff
He
like that.
took it. He saw the example that you led. You said you were going to fight and serve for this country, and he decided that's something that he can do too. It's his way of giving back, his way of protecting, his way of being a true leader. For himself, he saw the example that you set for him. So, thank you very much. Thank you for serving. Thank you to your son for serving. And I'm gonna
Appreciate
push
that.
hard. I definitely push hard for my veterans out here. We have a lot of them in this area. My boy, he's in the Navy, doing a great. He's doing great there. I have another friend. His son just joined the Marines, and he just finished his boot camp and everything, and he's stepping up. And I love these guys. These are my heart. Their kids are like my kids. So I need everybody protected. I need everybody to know that this is a safe country, and there's people out there that really care about this country and are fighting for us, and they deserve the best. They deserve that when they finish, doing their tours and everything, that they can get a decent job that's going to pay them well for all the work and hard work that they put in to protecting us and helping us. They need to know that they have, somebody has their back, and I definitely have their back, because I'm not going to turn my back on anybody that took up arms for us. You guys all
Oh,
deserve all the praise. You guys deserve a lot that you don't get, and you guys deserve it all.
oh, that's very powerful. Absolutely appreciate that. Um, Listen, man, we don't do it for accolades. We don't do it for, well, there are some people who do it for accolades. I
No,
can't say that there aren't people. There are some assholes that do it for accolades. Most of us don't. Um, we don't even make up 1%. At this point, we don't even make up 1% of the population in this country, which is sad. It used to be, it just has gotten, since World War II, it has gotten smaller and smaller, the amount of people who actually volunteer for service. Although, okay, since Trump's return, um, recruitment has been through the roof for all branches. The Army met their goal 5 months in advance. The Navy just
nice.
recently met their goal like last month. The Marine Corps always meets their goal. They never have a problem. And I think the Air Force did too. Don't know how the Space Force and Coast Guard is doing, but those are pretty good gigs too. Although the Coast Guard, even though they're considered a branch, they fall under DHS anyway. Um, so it's a thing, man. And we need more people. Again, that's something to It's funny. I used to tell people all the time, if you can't go to college, you can't do whatever, but you want money for college and you just want to, just kind of even learn something, because you can learn a trade. Believe it or not, learn a trade in the military.
Yeah,
If you go become a combat engineer, you learn trade stuff. You learn how to be an electrician. You learn how to do carpentry. You learn all of that shit.
yeah,
Okay. If you go into the Navy Seabees, okay, bro, these guys do extraordinary things. The Navy Seabees, they literally put out fucking tarmacs on islands and shit like that, so planes can land and stuff like that and everything. Like it's like real shit that you learn. You learn how to drive like tractors and stuff like that and
yeah.
everything. Like, so it's not even just the
So
engineering
everything
part of
that can
things.
be
It's
adapted into our
everything that can
infrastructure
be
and into
adapted
our world.
into. Absolutely, it's 100%. Unfortunately, under the last administration, I was like, I don't suggest anybody going in, because it's just getting worse. Uh, and under Obama, it wasn't a good time either. My son was in under Obama, and he was telling me, he was like, "Dad, we're getting parts from museums, like to fix jets. We're getting parts from like old jets that like have been sidelined forever and stuff like that. We're taking parts, like we're not getting new parts and stuff like." He's like, "It's insane." He's
That's
like, "It's
horrible.
crazy." So
That's horrible.
you know, but every time they get power, they always do what they got to do to destroy the military. So we appreciate the support, man. I'm assuming with the homelessness, you probably got a veteran homeless issue in your area too.
Yeah,
That
no.
that that unfortunately
There's
gets mixed up.
a lot of guys that are suffering, man. They need a lot of help out here, and I'm gonna work hard to make sure that they all get the help that they need. So it was great, man. Thank you again so much for having me.
Sure.
Big Red Break the Machine podcast. We out here, Big Ramses. I'm gonna just keep working, keep doing what I gotta do, and I'll definitely be back, and we'll make this happen, and we'll be celebrating me, in office as District 25 City Council.
Absolutely, brother. Before you go, um, everybody, please make sure that all his all his links are in the description, fam. So you can, what do you call it? You can absolutely click on it. You can see what he's all about. He's got some great posts. His everything for his campaign is there as well. His campaign page and whatnot. Before you go, brother, I'm gonna say a prayer for you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate
All
that.
right, because like there's a pivotal. This the one prayer I always pray for people in pivotal moments, man. So let me know when you're ready, brother, and I'll
Go
pray for
for
you
it.
on the way out. All right, man. Father in heaven, we give you praise and glory. Thank you so much for your word. Thank you so much for revealing your heart to us and revealing your will to us. We ask that you please meet us at this moment, because this moment is where we find you. And in this moment is where you find us. Help us to be found by you, and help us to know your presence in this moment, in this circumstance, in this season of our lives. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. In the name of Jesus. Thank you again, brother. Thank you for having me
No
on. Thank
problem,
you for
man.
everybody that joined. God bless you all. Have
God
yourselves a
bless you,
great night.
brother. And we're definitely gonna have you back, man. When you win, we definitely want to have you coming out here and freaking, partying with us and whatnot.
For sure, for sure. Take care, guys. God bless you
All right,
guys.
brother. God bless, man. Well, America, that was Ramsey Frias. You heard him. I told you he's real. He keeps it gully. He keeps it 100%. And we had some good conversations about his district and what it is he's trying to change in the district, what he sees on a daily basis and whatnot. It's just something that unfortunately is terrible. It's sad, the whole issue they're having in his neighborhood with prostitution and human trafficking and whatnot, and the people of his area are not getting what they need, as far as like protection, as far as the police coming in. But again, this is all because of the laws that are in place right now that protect criminality. Okay, that is a big problem in the city of New York right now. Actually, it's a big problem across the United States, but in major cities across the United States, it is a huge problem. Criminality, okay, being recidivist criminals, we see it every day. People getting killed on trains and whatnot by recidivist criminals and stuff like that. And they're people who belong in insane asylums. We don't even have those anymore. So that's not even a thing. Uh, people that should have been locked up like, 10 freaking felonies ago and stuff. And it just, keeps continue to go and continues to go and continues to go. Um, so we appreciate Ramses. We appreciate his effort uh, that he's pushing in Queens, New York. You know, we like guys like him, knew him, Elijah Diaz. We had Janine Aquafreda on. We have Athena Clark coming up too and she'll be on the 24th, I believe. We only have her for about an hour, the first hour of the show. But she's able to make some time. That's almost at the end of her campaign going into election night, which is the first week of November in New York City. So it's a big election. Hey, Rosie, good to see you, honey. Haven't seen you in a while. Love you, prima. It's just I'm just glad that we got people like him who are willing to fight, and we need more Republicans like that, especially younger Republicans who just like, again, New York City, places like New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, and whatnot. The Republicans kind of lean a little bit on the progressive side. Not that there aren't conservative Republicans like him, there are plenty of us. Okay, uh, it's just that's just the nature, unfortunately, that needs to change. And the only way we change that is by electing people like him. So if you're in the New York City area and you were tuning in tonight, I hope you appreciated his message. I hope you appreciated what it is that he was, laying down for you. If you're in his district, please, please, please make sure that you get out there and vote for him because it's just very important. You know, um, Extremely important to get guys like him and Elijah and Janine and Athena, and there's a whole bunch of other names that like that. There were a whole bunch of candidates, believe it or not, in New York City that are on the right. Okay, that I couldn't get, we couldn't fit them all in. I wanted to get more of them in and stuff like that. Hopefully, if some of them win, we can get them on the show afterwards. That'd be fantastic to do, uh, just so we can have a conversation with them and whatnot. It was just a good conversation tonight. Definitely hope we're having another one with him. If you're just joining us tonight, it's me alone. Red Day Walker had some family obligations he had to take care of tonight. We had Ramses Frias on with us, running for the New York City District 25 Council seat in Queens, in Elmhurst and Jackson Heights. It's part of his district. He got into at length. You can go back and watch it. He got into at length the issues plaguing his district, in particular the prostitution and the human trafficking and the drugs and the homelessness and whatnot, and how the current district councilman for his area just has not done anything to try to help his district and whatnot. We got into education in New York. One of the things is a big thing for him, and he'd like to push education again, but like pushing people towards trades because we need people. Listen, the tradesmen and the tradeswomen of the country, they they run the country. Honestly, they build shit. Okay, we wouldn't have them if we didn't have engineers and we didn't have plumbers and carpenters and electricians and welders and whatnot like that. The ironworks guys and stuff like that. They build stuff for us, right? They build the infrastructure in this country, and it's very important to have people like that. Not everybody's cut out for college. College, I feel, is a big scam, unless you're going to become a professional. You're going to become a doctor or a nurse or whatever and stuff like that, a lawyer, an engineer, where you need further education to learn shit. But it should be structured just for that stuff and not the extra bullshit and fluff that they make you take in college. It's a complete waste of time. You could probably get the education you need in fucking 2 years if you just concentrated on the shit that you need to know uh, and stuff. It is just, yes, I agree with you, Jonathan. College is only good for STEM. You're 100% correct on that. It really is. That's really what it's good for. Everything else is just bullshit. Uh, Again, you could probably learn the law on fucking online now. Take a Hillsdale class for free online. They have law classes and shit. You could probably learn it and wouldn't have to spend any money. But like he said, you get these unfortunate. They push these kids towards college, and they end up being a barista somewhere at Starbucks and stuff like that, making $15 an hour with like $70,000 in fucking college debt for a degree in gender studies that doesn't equate to absolutely anything in life. All right. It's sad, but this is where we're at right now, and we need to start pushing people, start bringing these vocational programs back into high schools and whatnot. Again, New York City, and I'm pretty sure I know LA, I know Chicago, I know Miami. All of the major cities in this country used to have a lot of those vocational high schools and whatnot. It's good to hear that in New York City there are still some vocational schools, but what he was explaining was that guidance counselors, who most of them are all failed teachers who couldn't teach a fucking class, so they put them in a freaking room to for whatever reasons to give guidance to kids, and they never give the correct guidance. They don't push anybody towards the right direction. Okay. And when I was in junior high school in New York City, Again, I was an A student at the time. When I left to go to Rockland County, I ended up becoming a C student. It made me realize how terrible my education was in the city of New York compared to the suburbs in Rockland County. Uh, but we had guidance counselors in junior high school who were gearing us, okay, based on our grades, to the high schools that would have taken us. And the vocational schools, you actually had to apply for them and they had to accept you. So it wasn't like guaranteed that you were going to get into a school. They would like, they would like pick, like, I think we were allowed to pick 5 schools, and most people picked like 4 vocational schools who had good grades. They would pick 4 vocational schools and 1 regular high school that you could go to. And the regular high school is usually the high school in your area that because of where you live, that was the high school you had to go to. um so you tried to get into, if you wanted to go to a high school in another district and stuff like that, that was just a regular high school, you had to get special permission. You couldn't, if it was considered a good school, you couldn't just go to it. Even that, you had to get, like, your grades had to be good, and you had to get like permission and stuff like that from the New York City Board of Education, which at the time they used to grant that stuff. I don't think they do. They probably grant it now, but you could just be like, I want to go to the School of Climate Change, and they're like, oh yeah, yeah, we'll send everybody to the School of fucking Climate Change, which is absolute garbage anyway. Uh, but it's good. Again, it's good to have candidates like him, like Ramses, who he kept it real and he kept it 100% the whole show, where he was at on things, and kept it gully. Watch some of his videos. When he was saying that he goes up to these people on the street in his hood, okay, he's not lying about that. Like, he rolls up on them and stuff like that. He's not afraid. God bless him. I'm pretty sure he's gotten threats and whatnot like that from the people who run some of these establishments, the brothels in his neighborhood. He said there's somewhere upwards to almost 20, between 20 and 30 brothels in the stretch of fucking where he lives, from like Elmhurst to Jackson Heights. That's insane. It's really a small stretch when you think about it. There's just a lot of shit going on in a small area. It's absolute craziness. It's really, really nuts. But it's a shame that, like, he even has to deal with that shit, and the people in his neighborhood have to deal with that shit. You know, uh, it's just crazy. All of this shit is crazy. So you know what? I'm going to bring you guys up to speed. Blondie actually threw this up on the Discord. I think the fucking fucknut who eventually got arrested, who she was trying to warn Instagram about, and they nuked her fucking account because they suck. I think there's an update on him, and I think she put it in the Discord. Speaking of the Discord, fam, make sure you're signing up, and also make sure that you, what do you call it? You vote on the movies, because we got movie night on the 18th, which is, what is that, next Saturday, Jonathan? Movie night? I think that's next Saturday. And the movies are, wow, The Conjuring is winning. Nope. Yeah, The Conjuring is winning. Wow, we got 5 votes for The Conjuring, 1 vote for The Shining, 4 votes for Seven, 1 vote for Hellraiser, and 2 votes for Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, we're doing pretty good with the voting this year. Well, this week, this month. That's pretty good. All right, I hope you all all of you that voted, I hope you all show up on the 18th too, because it's pretty cool when we get a good group of people in there. Yeah. So 18th, that's next Saturday, right? I think that's correct. I think that's next Saturday. Awesome. Speaking of Saturdays, this Saturday we got the Salty Dog Show with myself and the Real Tomly Boos. I didn't have one last week, but I will have that this weekend. That is 6 p.m. Eastern. Rogue Nina, because you said you keep forgetting what time it is. 6 p.m. Okay, that is 3 p.m. on the West Coast for you. But let's put up some information that Blondie threw up for us in the Discord, and has something to do with the dipshit. Okay, that she was just trying to warn people about, warn Instagram about, and everything. But because they suck fucking donkey dick, they nuked her fucking account because they suck. So it says feds charge keyboard warriors. It's awesome. Who threatened ICE deportation officer and wife on Instagram. That's the shithead. Tennessee and New York men allegedly posted violent threats on Instagram targeting deportation officer and his family. A federal grand jury in Georgia has charged 2 out-of-state men with knowingly making threats to injure a U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement deportation officer and his wife. Frank Andrew Watson, 41 of Knoxville, Tennessee, is accused of posting a video on Instagram that identified and showed photos of an ICE deportation officer who lives and works in the Northern District of Georgia, according to court documents. Officials said the video allegedly shows Watson saying he is an ICE agent and this is him unmasked, so go ahead and make him famous. And if you see this, whatever, it says explicit of out in public, give him the cell block one treatment, catch him when he's all alone. Cell block one treatment appears to refer to subjecting someone to physical violence, according to the officials. Watson is in Texas law enforcement custody now, where he's charged with making separate terrorist threats against Republican lawmakers. We've talked about that on the show a couple of times to let you know what was going on. The other suspect, Anthony Patrick Noto, 63 of Ronkonkoma, New York, allegedly posted a comment on Instagram under the picture of the officer's wife saying, "Anybody want to test the sights on their new AR? There's a pretty good target right there," according to court documents. AR refers to we all know what an AR is. Federal agents deserve to perform their duties free of harassment from keyboard warriors and other agitators, U.S. Attorney Theodore S. Hertzberg wrote in his statement. Threatening law enforcement officers and their families is not only illegal, it's disgusting. My office will ensure that anyone who threatens a federal agent in North Georgia or who hides behind a computer screen to intimidate that agent's immediate family is found arrested, prosecuted, and held accountable. So this is in regards to the fuckneck, okay, who's what do you call it? That Blondie ended up getting her freaking page nuked from, unfortunately. Okay, and you know, she was trying to warn not only Instagram, but just warn everybody in general that, hey, this is what this guy is doing. So it's good to see that he is in custody. He got charged in Georgia. Now he's going to get charged in Texas. I hope he doesn't see the light of day for a very, very long time. And he gets what he deserves because, he's a scumbag. And this is what they were trying. This is what they were trying to do, get people hurt. Because this shit with doxing and everything, we've talked about it on the show. We even had a show about it. Okay, is really essentially to get people killed. Okay, this is what they really want. They want to get people hurt and killed. That's what they're all about. They're it's not about any kind of freedom of speech or anything. It's actually about, like I said, just to get people hurt. I put some extra tequila in my drink tonight. Holy shit, I'm starting to feel it. Speaking of drinking, I will be on bourbon and beer after tonight's show on Yankee Freeze channel on Rumble. And then tomorrow, like I said, we have the Salty Dog Show, which is only exclusively on Rumble with myself and the Real Tomley Booze. We'll be together 6 p.m. Eastern. On Monday, we got Carrie Lynn, which is one of Red Day Walker's friends. She's going to be on the show. Next Wednesday is Warrior Wednesday. Myself and hopefully the Major will be back. If not, I'll still be running the Warrior Wednesday one way or the other. Next Friday, we have Luna Lopez. And then on the 24th, we have Athena Clark. If I remember correctly, believe it's Athena Clark we have on that Monday, and we have her for about an hour, which would be cool. And she's part of the new blood that I'm talking about in New York City that that need to get elected, and her story is a good one. I'm sorry. Athena Clark is the 24th is a Friday. The 20th is our 1-year anniversary. That should be a very good show, actually. We're going to have a bunch of people on the show, and I'm pretty sure they're going to roast us. It should be pretty good. And when me and Red Day, it's the 20th is actually a year that him and I have been doing this together. Pretty good feat, being that we've been put on ice on Rumble. We're doing on YouTube. We're doing pretty good on Rumble and whatnot. It's getting every day we get new followers, which is awesome. I think it's fantastic. I finally have been able to sign up for the creator program, so we'll see how that works. I'm probably gonna have to wait for about a month. But about a couple of weeks ago, I was able to finally click that link for the creator program on Rumble. Again, they're gonna take their time getting back to me on that, and I still got to continue to grind. Just to give you guys a heads up, next month we're already starting to fill up. We got Kristen Sokolov coming in. Actually, Victoria, who's been in the chat hanging with us, she's coming on the 14th. Got somebody else that Red Day told me for November, but I gotta look at the calendar because my memory is for shit, guys. You guys know that. I can't. Plus, I'm drinking. I don't remember shit. Anyway, like I said, tequila is feeling really good right about now. So yeah, we're already starting to fill up for November. We're keeping it going for you guys, fam. We just want to keep you guys going. This will be after the election in New York City, and then remember in California, guys, vote no on Prop 50. All right, for the gerrymandering shit. I hope it dies a drastic death in the state of California, and crashes and burns, and you guys don't get that, because regardless whether it's to set up power for the Marxists out there forever. This is what he's doing. But no matter what he does, there are like 5 or 6 other states in the union that are like, fuck you, we're going to do the same thing then. And whatever it is you think you're going to fix, we're not going to let you do it. So, he's going to lose that game anyway on the grand scheme of things. The people of California will lose the most, though, if it actually goes through, because it's like a permanent gerrymander, essentially. And there will be no representation of the 40% of people who are Republicans in the state of California at all whatsoever. And that's what he's looking to do, to set up a permanent control for the Marxists in the state of California. And you guys got a lot of work to do there too. Uh, you guys know what's going on. We've brought a lot of people here from California on to come hang with us and whatnot. So we just, we got to keep alerting everybody, because it's just important to just keep this shit going. We need people, what do you call it, to show up. If you're in New York and you were watching tonight, you got to see Ramses, please, please, please show up on election night. Okay? Please. We need you guys to show up. We need you guys to do what's right in the city of New York. You guys have to stop Zoran Mamdani. It's just really important that you guys do not let that happen. You guys got to go and elect a new blood. Don't be a fucking pussy in New York and vote for fucking Cuomo. He ruined the state, and he helped ruin the state of New York. So he's a failed governor. Why the fuck would you want him as your mayor, right? Like, if you just go out and do what it is you have to do for Curtis Sliwa, you guys can make it happen, right? Because we know that the Democrat vote is gonna get split between Cuomo and Mamdani. Mamdani will probably get most of it and whatnot. Okay, but we just need him to break it up. And if you're a Gen Xer and you're older millennial and you're in the middle and you're not feeling what Mamdani is talking about, get out and vote. Help Curtis Sliwa. It's just important. We know the youth love him because they're all indoctrinated in the city of New York. So if they come out to vote, hope that they do what they normally do and don't show up. It'd be very important for them not to show up. But don't be an asshole and vote for fucking Cuomo. Don't be a pussy. Get out and vote for Sliwa. You guys need him. If there's anybody who represents New York City, okay, and who is all about New York City and wants to actually make change, you might not even agree with. I don't even agree with everything that comes out of his mouth. We talked about it. I told you how Republicanism in the state of New York is more purple than anything anyway. But with that said, he is the best option to try to save the city of New York. And you have to give him the workhorses on top of it. We've talked about that here on this channel about you can't just elect somebody who's going to be ahead of something and not give them the workhorses, right? Like we talked about with Trump. Like, yeah, he needs the workhorses to get shit done. And even with having more workhorses, you see the problem we're having. The government is shut down, right? The Democrats, because they're allowed to have a voice in the minority. That's how our Constitution is set up. We are not a democracy where we do shit by mob rule. We can't even get past the filibuster with them, and they're holding the government hostage, holding America hostage. They're doing it intentionally. It's not helping them. They think it is, but it's not. It's making it worse for them and stuff. But we have to get out and do what's right. We've talked at length about local, local, local. And we're always trying to explain that to you on this show. If it's me or Red Day or some of our guests, whoever it is, we want you guys to fix yourselves locally. That's how you fix it. It's got to start on that. It's got to start on that level. If it doesn't start on that level, then nothing you do on the national level is going to work, right? Because because of the supremacy clause, okay, the law of the land is federal law. All right. That doesn't mean that the states don't have powers that they can use. And in order to use those powers, you got to have the right people willing to use those powers. It's the whole reason why every time these governors are talking about that, no National Guard here to protect the federal officers and federal buildings. That's why they keep losing, right? You get some activist judge that puts a stop on what the president is doing. Then the appellate court is like, yeah, you can't do that, right? Because he's doing his job under the supremacy clause. Okay, your rights as a state means nothing because he's not fucking enforcing state law. He's enforcing federal law. He's protecting federal buildings and stuff like that. This is why it keeps getting bounced back, and this is why he keeps activating the National Guard and sending them to these federal buildings in these cities because like he doesn't give a shit. He knows that he's gonna win, and that's the way. I'm glad he's doing that anyway. Um, they're not really allowed to patrol the streets. If they are patrolling the streets somewhere in a state, it's probably because that governor has given permission and has asked for that help, right? Because even if a mayor is saying no, the governor can be like, if the governor of the state is a Republican, it means nothing that the mayor is a Democrat of whatever city. And if he says, yeah, we need you to bring in the National Guard to help us with patrolling the city. We've seen it in New York. If you lived in New York after 9/11, the National Guard was everywhere for years. Okay, Hochul in recent years, she put the National Guard presence in the city subways. Okay, to try to get deterrence of some of the crime and stuff like that. It's her prerogative to do that. So if the governor says yeah, then they can do it too. You know, it's just the way it is, fam. Uh, People don't, again, get your pocket freaking constitutions and read it. Uh, Guys got to understand that these things are doable, and he's well within his right uh, to do it. He's well within his right. Fam, wow, we're almost up on 2 hours already. Shit, 13 minutes and we'll be done here. That went pretty quick. Did you guys enjoy the conversation with Ramses? I did. I always like talking to younger conservatives and seeing where they're at mentally and whatnot, and especially someone who's running for um, a local election. Because I know it's New York City, but it's really a local election because it's his district, and I hope he actually wins. And I hope people like Elijah Diaz wins, and I hope Athena Clark wins. And you're going to be hearing about Athena Clark's story. Um, she lost her job because of COVID. She refused to take the jab, and she watched a whole bunch of other people lose their jobs. So that's why she's running. You try to stop shit like that. If you guys want change in New York, the only way you guys are going to be able to do it is to put in the right people. If you want change anywhere in the country, is to put in the right people. And here's my little caveat. Okay, and if those people that you put in are not doing what it is they're supposed to, the next election, get rid of their ass, primary them out, and start again. It's a fucking shitty way to do things because it sucks because you're constantly giving your votes. But if they're not doing what they're supposed to, if we're not holding our elected officials responsible for their actions or lack thereof, okay, we're the ones that deserve what we get, even if we're not doing it intentionally, because it's up to us. We can't become apathetic. Stop listening to the black pill people and it does matter. It matters considerably. All right. The big reason we're in the shithole that we are is because people have been apathetic, all right, for a long time, or they've been voting in their most favorite person because they like the color fucking shirt they wore on a Friday or the car that they drive on a Sunday, and it's not because of their policy. It's like, oh, I like what that person looked like in that suit, so I'm just going to vote for them. It's dumb shit. People vote for dumb reasons in this country. I know most of you guys who watch this show are not dumb people, and you guys vote for the right people that you feel is fit for what it is that you want done. And you guys all do your due diligence because you guys are all truth tellers and truth seekers in your own right. So I know you guys are doing what it is that you're supposed to, but it's up to us, like channels like this, to constantly beat that drum of local, 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 and pay attention to who's running. Do your due diligence on who's running. Read up on them. You can Google anybody nowadays and get information on them and find a ton of shit on them. And it's up to you to make the educated decision from the different sources that you use in order to elect the right person or who we think might be the right person. And again, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do, bounce their ass. Next election comes up. In most cases, elections are every 2 years, right? Some what do you call it? Seats are every 4 years. But if you're voting for an election that's every 2 years, and your incumbent, is not doing what it is that they're supposed to, toss them, start over. It sucks, but you have to do it. Um, you might think it's like, it's trivial. It's not. And because once we start actually holding these people accountable, America, then and only then are they going to actually start doing what they're doing. Because if they're paying attention to the current events and they're paying attention to the history of their seat, and be like, wow, these people keep getting tossed because, the electorate in this district, okay, is like, yeah, we're not having it because we elected you to do a certain thing and you're not fighting for us. They're not fighting for what if they say they're going to do something and you agree with it, and then you come to find that they're not doing what it is that they're supposed to. You've never heard them fight, all right, for you in any platform whatsoever on the floor, okay, of a vote and stuff like that, and in their voting record. It's important to pay attention to their voting record, right? Because if they're going along to get along and stuff like that, then that means they got corrupted almost immediately and they got to go. But it's only we can do that, America. All right, the mechanisms for change are still in our Constitution, not just our U.S. Constitution, but in your state constitutions. The laws and the rules are in place that we can still do what it is we have to do. And in order for us to actually change anything, okay, we have to use the rules that are in place, get where we have to get to, and then change the rules to make them better, so that it's actually genuinely equal across all boards and stuff like that. And if someone ends up losing equally, not because of equity, because they just didn't have what it was that they needed, and to change laws and strike laws off the books and stuff like that. That's something that can be done, right? Just because we put somebody in and put people in power, okay, doesn't mean that they can't strike laws off the books. They don't just, by the way, they don't just only generate bills for laws to turn them into laws and sign them into law. They can actually take shit off the books with a law. It's a new law, okay, but they can strike laws off the books too. All right, if they're deemed to be unconstitutional. There's plenty of those on the books all across the country. We have to get the people in place to make sure that they get rid of that stuff. It's just very important. Um, if you're just tuning in, we had Ramses Frias a little bit earlier tonight. He had to go a little bit past the hour mark. He's still campaigning and whatnot. So we're just happy that he gave us his time. And it was just a great conversation. Please make sure you go back and watch that again. Saturday the 18th, we have movie night. All right. And the movies are, what do you call it? We got The Conjuring, which is winning right now with 38% of the vote. The Shining is at 8%. Seven is at 31%. So it's like it's a close run here. Uh, we got Hellraiser at 8% and Nightmare Before Christmas at 15%. I think it's just fantastic. We got a bunch of you guys to vote. I hope you guys all tune in on the 18th and come hang with us, because it's always a fun night. And we just, Jonathan took the time to build a server that he's got housed all these movies and stuff like that, and that he's gonna show the movies off. The last movie we watched was fantastic. We watched Superman 2025, and it was awesome. The picture was perfect, the sound was perfect, all thanks to Jonathan and his new server. He likes to do those things. He likes to build those things. So he takes the time to come hang with us in his busy ass schedule, because when he's not working his whole life, he's got like 17 different creators that he mods for, including myself. All right, and I got him 3 days a week, so I'm fortunate that I even have him that much. Compared, he's again, even when he's modding for me, he's modding for other people. So he's very busy. He takes the time one Saturday a month to come hang with us. So just come hang with us. Let's hang with him this 18th. Don't forget the 20th, fam. Jonathan says he loves building servers and shit. He likes to do that shit. I think it's just neat that he even knows how to do that stuff. I wouldn't know how. The only server I know is the fucking server at the Cheesecake Factory. That's about it. I don't know any other servers or Chili's. Um, I think it's pretty dope. So look, he just said he was modding today while fixing metadata for the movies. Okay, so he's always busy with this shit. Uh, but just to give you another breakdown really quick before we head out, Monday, Red Day is back. We got one of his friends from Instagram, Carrie Lynn. She'll be on the show to talk with us. Next Wednesday is Warrior Wednesday. Hopefully the major will be back. He's been very busy doing stuff with his 501c, plus with his regular day job too. He got a promotion, so things have kind of changed that way too. Uh, oh, you're fixing Ghost in the Machine to play in order. Oh, okay. Well, guys have never seen Ghost in the Machine, it's pretty good anime. We're talking about the anime, right? Not the stupid movie that came out that was garbage. Uh, so yes, and then next Friday we have Luna Lopez, who's coming to hang with us. And then Monday on the 20th is our 1 year anniversary. That should be a good show. We have a bunch of friends of the show. Ghost in the Shell. Okay. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I got it wrong too. Don't worry about it, bro. I knew exactly what you meant. I just went along with it and read it. That should be a good show on the 20th. I think we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have some friends of the show coming on that are gonna hang with me and Red Day. We have a panel of probably about 8 people. It's gonna be absolutely bananas. Anywhere between 5 and 8 people. Um, I've never watched Gundam. I heard that they're all pretty good. I don't know what order to watch those anyway. So once you get that set up, you got to let me know. Uh, and then on the 24th, we have Athena Clark. She's the last political candidate we have that has an election this year. We are working to bring Peyton Jackson back. We have to see what date she's available in November. We got some other people we're trying to bring on who are going to be political candidates for next year as well for Congress. We're working to see if we can get them on the show next month because their election is next year. We tried to do this month was try to get as many people as we can that have an election coming up in November this month, next month. So that was just very important for us. So I hope you all had a fantastic night tonight. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with myself and Ramses. If you just joined us, please go back and check it out. We appreciate it and stuff like that. Those of you that I know that we have some people who go back and watch it later. That's fine too. Those of you that were just kind of hanging out and lurking, we love all you too, because you guys are our people too. No matter how you come to hang with us, we appreciate it no matter what. So even if you didn't jump in the chat, what do you call it? We just appreciate you all, honestly. Yeah, Blondie, I can't wait for the Halloween show. That's gonna be pretty good. I got something that I might be doing. I'm hoping that I can get it in time. If not, I'm gonna have to change it up. What it is I'm gonna do for Halloween. I think I figured out what it is I'm gonna do. Uh, so anyway, fam, we about to go out for the weekend. We're about to call it a night. I will be on Bourbon and Beer on Yankee Freeze channel. We will, be rating them shortly. Just remember, I am the Big Red One Guy signing out. And remember that together and only together can we break the machine. Only as a team, fam. Only as Americans, patriots who love this country can we break that machine. God bless you all. God bless America. Have a great weekend, and we will see you all on Monday night, fam. Have a good night. I'm about to send you guys on your way over to Bourbon and Beer where I'll be hanging out there and I don't have to worry about doing any kind of freaking producing or anything like that, moving shit around and seeing. So, love you all. Glad you guys all tuned in, and I will see you shortly. So, we're about to hit this right now for the raid. We're going to confirm the raid, which takes like, I know there's a button I can use. I got to download Tom Lee's app. He actually has an extension that he made. So, love you guys. See you guys shortly on Bourbon and Beer.